This video is brought to you by BETUS Sportsbook and Casino.
What up, JP Nation? This your boy JP. Today we are reacting to Michael Jordan, the real greatest of all time, aka GOAT of NBA analytics. Very intrigued to see what this video is about. Shout out to one of my followers for recommending this video. So yeah, Michael Jordan is my GOAT, and you know, people discuss who's the GOAT and stuff. So you know, it's your opinion at the end of the day. But we're about to go ahead and get into this video. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you comment down below your thoughts of this video and also what you want me to react to next. And then make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you can follow me for more content and whenever content is uploaded. So let's go ahead and get into the video. Let's do it.
Michael Jordan has it all. He has a team success portion, 6 titles and 6 finals appearances. He has the individual aspect covered, 5 regular season MVPs, 6 finals MVPs, 10 scoring titles, 1 Defensive Player of the Year award, and countless records.
Hell of a resume.
He was a generational talent. He was, and still is, the most marketable athlete in all of sports. He is also the most statistically dominant player, which includes the advanced metrics.
I want to see this.
In recent years, sports have become more and more driven by analytics.
Facts.
It has changed the way the game has been played in all major sports leagues. Thanks to these metrics, the game of basketball is more efficient than ever before. Because of this fact, some people believe that today's era is better than any other era of basketball.
I don't know about that. I feel like in terms of like today's era compared to back in the day, every era is so much different. So you got one person saying the 60s was the best era. You got another person saying the 70s, another person saying the 80s. Some people say the 90s. Like, it just depends on what you grew up with whenever you watch basketball. To me, at the end of the day, basketball is basketball. You know, I guess he's saying today's era is better than any other era because of all the analytics and the advanced metrics that goes on in today's game and the advancement of today's game in terms of styles that was incorporated, you know, based on who they watched back in the day, and also like the dream team aspect when they went around the world and, you know, got the gold and then influenced a lot of European players, even though you had a Dražen Petrovic, Vlade Divac, and then Marcelonis too. So it's so yeah, every era is different, and it's your opinion at the end of the day about what's the best era to you and stuff. That's what it is.
But what if I told you that the person who has benefited the most from analytics played during an era where these metrics were not taken seriously? That is the case for Michael Jordan. Hold on to your thinking caps, because this is about to get nerdy real quick.
I like the aspect. Okay.
What metric will we be using for this discussion? We're going to be using essentially all the metrics that are under each player's basketball reference page. If you search for Michael Jordan, you see there's a section for his advanced stats. This is the table that we're going to be using. We're going to disregard the 3-point attempt rate down to turnover percentage, but we'll be using everything else. We'll be looking at all the players from the beginning of the shot clock era, which is the 1954/55 season, to the 2023/24 season, in case you're watching this way down the line. Let's start with win shares.
Okay.
This stat attempts to divvy up credit for team success to the individuals on the team. It's an estimate of the number of wins contributed by a player based on their offense, defense, and playing time. To oversimplify it, a player who makes a well-rounded contribution on offense and defense will do well in the system. Michael Jordan is known as arguably the greatest two-way player of all time, so he benefits tremendously from this stat.
Yes.
Before we get to Jordan's numbers, there's one caveat that we have to mention about win shares. His biggest flaw is that it's a counting stat. This metric benefits the players who are on the court a lot. That's why the top 7 players with the highest win shares for a season belong to only Kareem and Wilt Chamberlain, who regularly played the entire season and averaged over 43 minutes per game. This is still a very helpful stat, but it should come with context. Let's take a look at the top 20 highest win shares recorded for a season. Michael Jordan is on this list 5 times.
Wow.
The only player with more appearances is Will Chamberlain,
Obviously, yeah.
who has 6 total.
Yep.
Michael's career high came in the 1987/88 season when he earned 21.2 win shares. That is the highest out of any player since the NBA/ABA merger, which is what's considered the modern NBA. But that's not all. He also has the second and third highest for a season. There are 3 times when he earned at least 20 win shares.
Wow.
LeBron James and David Robinson were also able to earn that many win shares, but they've only done it once.
Wow.
Now let's go into specifics on how valuable he was on both ends of the court. Let's start with offensive win shares. If you look at the top 20, Jordan has 5 total appearances. That is more than any other player. His career high came in 1988 when he earned 15.2 offensive win shares. That's the 6th highest overall and the highest since the merger.
Wow.
He also has the 2nd highest for the modern NBA, which occurred in the 1990/91 season. He earned 14.7 offensive win shares. Now what about defensive win shares? This particular stat is dominated by centers. They benefit the most since they record more rebounds and blocks than any other position. So we're only going to be looking at guards. According to StatHead, he has the 7th and 9th highest ever. If you look at players since the merger, his 1996 and 1988 seasons are the most by any guard.
Wow.
It's no wonder that he's 5th all time in career win shares, despite barely playing over 1,000
That's
games
incredible.
for his career.
That's incredible.
Now what about win shares per 48 minutes? This one levels the playing field to just the impact of each player if they all play the same number of minutes. Let's take a look at how Jordan fared. He has 3 appearances in the top 11 alone.
Wow.
Shout out to Kareem, who has 3 appearances in the top 5. And also LeBron James, who has 4 appearances in the top 20. There's one more metric that helps evaluate how valuable a player is to their team, and that's value over replacement player rating. This is a box score estimate of the points per 100 team possessions that a player contributed above a replacement level player, translated to an average team and proportional to an 82-game season. It's important to keep in mind that this metric has been used since the 1973/74 season. Unsurprisingly, Michael Jordan has dominated. He has the record, which occurred in his legendary 1987/88 season. He had a 12.5 value over replacement player rating. A player rarely records a rating over 10.
Wow.
It's only been done 11 times. Out of the 11 instances, Michael has done it 6 times.
6 times?
He has 6 of the 10 highest
Wow.
for a single season. This all gives an idea of what Jordan meant for his team every season.
Yes.
Nobody in the modern NBA has been able to bring as much value to a team as Michael Jordan has. Now let's move on to Box Plus Minus.
Shout out to my sponsor for this video, BETUS. If you sign up and join BETUS today, you get 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits. This is a hell of a deal. Here's how it works. You'll get 100% match for the sports betting. You'll get a 25% match for the casino. All you gotta do is sign up and join BETUS today. The conference finals are here. You got Boston versus Indiana. Who you think gonna win the series? Or the Dallas Mavericks versus the Minnesota Timberwolves over in the Western Conference. And you can go ahead and win you some money. And you don't even have to do just the NBA. You can also do the MLB. And you are also do the WNBA, for example. So all you need to do is sign up to BETUS today. The link is gonna be below the YouTube description. You also get a 10% gambler's insurance. Man, when I tell you that's a hell of a deal, that is a hell of a deal. So what you need to do, go ahead and sign up to BETUS today and go ahead and win you some money. And it's the best sport booking odds right now. And it just tells you something about, to all the young fans, and look, it's your opinion at the end of the day, if you say LeBron's the greatest of all time to you, that is totally fine. But don't discredit like Michael Jordan and saying that he was trash or he was horrible or bad. Like, look at these metrics. These metrics are incredible and still holds to this day. Like, just wow. I mean, come on now. It's Michael Jordan. Like, that's why a lot of people's like, yo, MJ's the GOAT. MJ's the GOAT. And, how can you prove that Michael Jordan is the GOAT? Okay, let's bring up accolades. Let's bring up these advanced stats. Let's bring up these metrics right here that Michael Jordan did throughout his entire career. I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible.
What is this stat? This uses a player box score information, position, and the team's overall performance to estimate the player's contribution and points above the league average per 100 possessions played. According to Daniel Myers, the developer of Box Plus Minus, the league average is defined as 0.0, meaning 0 points above average or below average.
Okay.
For example, a value of +5 means the team is 5 points per 100 possessions better with the player on the floor than with the average production from another player. He mentions that a +10 is considered an all-time season. There have only been 30 instances that a player has recorded a Box Plus Minus over 10. And guess who has the most? That's right, Michael Jordan, who has 7 total.
Damn.
His career high came in 1988,
Of course.
when he recorded a 12.96 Box Plus Minus.
Of course.
The same thing can be said about offensive Box Plus Minus. He has 6 appearances in the top 20, which is the most out of any player. His career high came in the 1989/90 season when he posted a 9.09 offensive Box Plus Minus. He also made his mark in defensive Box Plus Minus. In 1988, he posted a 4.16 defensive Box Plus Minus, which is the 10th highest ever. That's the second most by any perimeter player behind Nate McMillan, who has an all-time record.
Nate was a great defensive
Now
player.
we move on to PER, or Player Efficiency Rating.
There we go.
According to his developer, John Hollinger, PER sums up all a player's positive accomplishments, subtracts the negative accomplishments, and returns a per-minute rating of a player's performance. It appears that this stat favors big men more, as they make up 56% of the
Jokic.
top 50 highest PER for a season. But Michael made his mark here too. He and Steph Curry are the only perimeter players to reach the top 20.
Wow.
Curry only has 1 appearance, while Jordan has 4. That is the most by any player, along with Nikola Jokic. His career high came in 1988, when he had a 31.71 PER, which is also the 6th highest ever.
1988.
Speaking of efficiency, his true shooting percentage is also very noteworthy. This stat takes into account shooting percentages from 2-pointers, 3-pointers, and free throws. He's nowhere near the all-time list, but we do want to mention where he ranks among volume scorers. There have only been 30 times in NBA history that a player recorded a 60 true shooting percentage while averaging over 30 points. Michael Jordan did it 4 times, which is the most ever. In his historic 1988 season,
We're going back to that
he
year.
averaged 35 points while having a 60.3 true shooting percentage.
60.3.
That's the second highest point per
Damn.
game average while posting those shooting numbers behind the 2019 season from James Harden. He averaged 36.1 points with a 61.6 true shooting percentage.
Doesn't have a ring to show for
The
it.
numbers say that Jordan's the
I'm
most
kidding.
efficient volume scorer ever. The last stat that we're going to look at is usage rate. This is an estimate of the percentage of team plays used by a player while they were on the floor. So why are we looking at this stat? Because throughout all of NBA history, there's only been one player to lead their team to a title while posting a 34 usage rate percentage. Jordan accomplished this in 1993.
Wow.
But that's not all. Out of all the players in the top 100 with the highest usage rate for a single season, no one has been able to win a championship in the same year. But Michael Jordan did it a total of 5 times.
Sheesh.
For him to be that involved in the offense and to remain efficient while not hurting his team is a skill that very few players can master. But to also deliver a title, only Jordan has been able to do it throughout all of NBA history. So what do all these numbers tell us? Should this be the determining factor to crown a player the GOAT? I don't think so. I believe it's important to see the whole picture, and the advanced metrics should play a role. It confirms how great a player was. The advanced metrics certainly do that for MJ. In a world driven by analytics, the numbers say that no one had a better prime than Michael Jordan. It's just another advantage that the GOAT has. But what about you all? What role should the advanced metrics play in the GOAT conversation? Is there a certain stat that proves to you that Jordan or any other player is your GOAT? Let me know in the comments.
That's a great video, just showing and breaking down Michael Jordan's advanced metrics in terms of analytics, throughout his entire NBA career. That's just impressive. Like, just looking at it, just the usage rate, the player efficiency rating, the offensive box plus minus. Like, Jordan was unbelievable at that time. I'm trying to tell young fans how great Michael Jordan is, because everybody's like, oh, we're done with the 90s because all the old fans is going at LeBron and stuff, and they have LeBron as their go in terms of the young fans, and then they go back and don't ever do that to Jordan, because you just look at the stats, you look at the accolades. I mean, you can't really say Michael Jordan was trash, really bad. You can't really say that, because brother was just, who said it? I want to say Reggie Miller said this quote, and it was like a hell of a quote. So, everybody, talking about Wilt Chamberlain, Shaquille O'Neal, but, Shaquille's like the most dominant center of all time, alongside Wilt Chamberlain. But Reggie Miller said that Michael Jordan was the Shaquille O'Neal of shooting guards. It just tells you how dominant Michael Jordan was and how filled Michael Jordan was in his heyday. His prime it's probably the best prime of all time, in my opinion. But definitely let me know in the comments what you think about this video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you press that red button that says subscribe. Let me know what you want me to react to next. I'm JP. We'll see you in the next video.